I want to show you problem 3. You should do problem 3 on your own, but I'll just show you what I got so you can compare your answers to mine. Read through all the instructions. It says a top marathon runner runs at a constant pace of 5 minutes per mile when competing in marathon races. Compare that to your running pace. Your pace is how many minutes it takes you to run a mile. And plot both proportional relationships on the graph. That means your proportional relationship for your jogging pace and the proportional relationship that shows the marathon runner's jogging pace. I should say running pace. You need to label everything on the graph like heading, axes, labels, units, and scale. Plot points on the graph to show the marathon runner's distance over time and your distance over time that it takes to run a full course marathon. A marathon is 26.2 miles long. Okay, read through these directions and make sure you follow them perfectly. And then answer the first question. What is your running pace? That means how many minutes does it take you to run 1 mile? If you are unsure, you can go outside and time yourself running a mile. Or you can just estimate how long you think it takes you to run a mile. Well, I do know my running pace, but I used to run slowly at 12 minutes per mile. Now, I'm not in shape now to run a marathon, but I have. I used to be in great shape, and I could run a half marathon in 2 hours. And that pace was, I used to run at my fastest 9 minutes per mile. And I even got first place in an amateur run one time, 9 minutes per mile. Okay, but I'm going to use a slower pace because I was in really good shape. When I ran 9 minutes per mile, I was in really good shape. But honestly, that was pretty hard for me, and 12 minutes per mile is more realistic for me. I'm a slow runner. Sometimes I'd even run 14 minutes per mile. I mean, I'm really slow. Okay, so I have already completed this problem for myself. Complete the graph for you and the marathon runner. Okay, so here's what I have, and I'm grading you on this. Did you title your graph? Did you label the y-axis and specify the units? Did you label the x-axis and specify the units in parentheses? And then, do you have the line showing the proportional relationship between the runner's the runner's time in minutes and distance? I told you that the runner runs 5 minutes per mile. So if you graph that perfectly, you'll see that the marathon runner can finish a marathon at 26.2 miles, that's about here. They can finish that in under 135 minutes. And then I want to make sure that I can see your line that shows your jogging pace. And this is the line that represents the proportional relationship between my jogging time and my distance. So for me, to run a 12-minute mile for 26.2 miles, it takes me about 315 minutes to run. 315 minutes to finish a marathon is about 5 hours. It takes me a long time. 5 hours, 5.25 hours is what that takes for me to finish a full course marathon at my 12-minute speed. Okay, so have you got 2 lines? Did you label the marathon runner's time? Does it show he finishes the marathon in under 135 minutes? Do you show that the marathon is 26.2 miles, so just above the 26 mark? Did you also put some scale on your axes that works well for your numbers? Because I'm very slow, I needed to go out pretty far. So my scale on the x-axis is from 0 to 315. And then the marathon is 26 miles. So my y-axis only needs to go up to 26. But I just showed 30 because I went 2 miles per every grid mark there. Okay? Make sure that your graph has everything labeled and put on properly, otherwise I will knock down your points. Question number 2. If you ran at a constant pace for 26.2 miles, how long would it take you to run a marathon? Okay, remember my pace was 12 minutes per mile. So if there is 26.2 miles in a marathon, I'm just going to put MI, then I can multiply that by my pace. My pace is 12 minutes, which is not MI, it's MIN. Be careful, 12 minutes per mile. There's the MI on the bottom. If I multiply that, it tells me how many minutes it takes me to complete a full course marathon if I was running at a constant speed. Actually, I'm out of shape these days. I would die if I had to run more than a few miles. But if I ran at a constant speed, it would take me 314.4 minutes. Now, 314.4 minutes is not something we can really relate to. So why don't you go ahead and change your answer to hours. Just divide this by 60 minutes in an hour, and then give me your answer in hours. For me, that is 5.24 hours. You know what? It would be even better if we do it like this. That's 5 hours, and then how many minutes? 5 hours. I said 5.24 hours, but that's not very useful either. Okay, so how many minutes is actually left over? I'll just give you a second to think about it. It's 5 hours for me and 14.4 minutes. Oops, I don't know why I have a 3 there. There we go. 5 hours and 14.4 minutes is how long it's going to take me to finish that darn long marathon. How long does it take the marathon runner to finish? He runs at a 5-minute mile. Okay, do the math. 26.2 times 5 minutes per mile means the marathon runner takes 131 minutes. Now, let's convert that into hours and minutes. So divide it by 60, and then you know that's 2 hours and 11 minutes. And my battery's about to die, so it's a good thing I just got to the end. 2 hours and 11 minutes. I hate this pen tablet with my lagging computer. It's so hard to do this. But I hope you can see it and you do very well. Okay, bye guys.